Hi, I'm Jim Palmer, and I'm just here to share my journey through getting my old 81 Goldwing uh, back on the road. Uh, the bike has been off the road since about '02. I've owned the bike since 1982, so I've had it all along. I bought it used, 1-year-old, 3,000 miles on it. And, you know, family came along, kid, then a lot of other things in life. I think most people understand that. And I always thought I would get it going. So about '09, I tore it down with the intention of getting it back on the road. I kind of got in over my head a little bit and thought I needed to get something a little simpler to learn on, and then so I bought a '72 CD450 and went through that, did a bare metal restoration on that. Bike really runs nice, learned a lot from that project, and then wanted to get on the big bikes, the heavies again. I picked up this 1200 about 2 years ago, last October. So a lot of work went into that, and it really is a nice running bike. It'd been off the road for 10 years, the previous owner. He just kind of fell into the same trap that a lot of people do. Bike had a problem, thought he could fix it himself, started taking it apart. One thing led to another, and then he just, I think he just decided that his riding at Goldwing days were over, and so he let it go cheap. So I got about 2,000 miles on it now. New tires, wheel bearings, brakes, stainless steel bearings, a lot of cleaning, resealing. Took the floorboards off of it, the trailer hitch off of it. Went back to how it delivered from the factory. Carburetors, they were a challenge, like all the Klein CD carbs are, but it took me twice going through them to get them right. They've got new diaphragms in now. Like I said, the bike runs really sweet. Took it to Oregon last summer, Eastern Oregon, did a week's ride on it. Came back, and the week after that, the stator went out, so last September I pulled the engine out and did the stator on it, put a Rick stator on it, and been told it's really good. So anyway, I got this one, but I still miss the 1100. You know, this bike is great on the freeway. The 1100 is different. It is more like the old CD Super Sports, with tighter gearing and a little bit higher RPM running engine. And you can push them a lot harder than the 1200. So my goal is to have both the bikes going and have that 1100 on the road by the time spring rolls around. So that's that. I'll show you the 1100 here in a minute, show you where I'm at on it. It ain't a pretty picture, but the bike's going to be good when I'm done with it. I got everything, I just need to put it together. It's going to include splitting the cases on it and new rings. I got some of the bottom end bearings for it, but it's going to be really a good runner. The plan is to get aluminum panniers for it and lightweight plexiglass fairing on it. Kind of give it the adventure touring look with the bias towards the street. You're never going to really think that a Goldwing's a good off-road or gravel road bike, but you can ride them a little bit, especially the lighter ones. I don't like doing it with this thing. Last summer trip, the bike weighed in, I stopped at a weigh station with me and my gear on it. It was 1,150 pounds. And it was a lot for me to handle. So anyway, I'm going to get in it. Today is January 13th, Sunday, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The goal for today is to go through the master cylinders and the calipers for the 1100 and do a full tear down on them and get them taken apart far enough to where I know all the parts I need and get an order in for parts and hopefully be able to start putting it back together next weekend. getting the brakes going, and so once I get the brake systems going, then I think I can continue on. So so far on the 1100, I do have the gas tank done. I put the Caswell tank liner in it. It came out really nice. I do that to all my bikes. I know it's a little controversial, but I had to do it on the 450 because there was some pinhole leaks in it. The tank had been repaired, it was welded on, and first time I used it, I started getting some gas coming out when it was over about 2/3 full. So I did the 450 tank, and it came out really nice. I mean, and the thing about it is once you do that, you don't have to ever worry about it rusting out again. And if you really want to put the bike out for long-term storage, if you dry the tank out, completely dry it out, it won't rust, and it'll be ready to go the next time you bring the bike out, whether it be just over the winter or a few winters. The fuel system will be preserved. So, okay, so that's it. Okay, here's the 1100. It's 81. Things that are done to it: forks are completely rebuilt. All new seals, new Teflon bushings. I've had the fork gears re-chromed, new hardware, new rubber, but the rubber's old now. The tires are about 8 years old, so I'm going to start off on them and see how it goes. I'll just have to treat them as a little bit lower speed rating. Swing arm's been out, bearings re-greased. Again on the rear, new rubber on the rear. The shocks have been overhauled, all new seals in them and stuff. Got down underneath and took out the center stand, greased the pivot bolt. There was some rust where bare metal was showing. I've gone through and I've touched up all the rust places on the frame. The reason I quit riding it was because the brake lever corroded out and would stick, and so took that off. Here's the engines. Not sure how much of this you can see, but the cylinders are rusted. I intend to hone these out and get them clean and round and back to spec. We'll see how that goes. So built that stand to haul the 450 engine around, and then found that it works pretty good for a Goldwing engine also. So, okay, this is what we're starting with right here. Sorry about the lighting. So I got an extra front brake assembly off eBay. It just was cheap, so I bought it. So I got a second master. It's got that cool alloy cap on it. This is the master, the front master that was on the bike. So I got 5 calipers and caliper mounts. I think these are the 2 that came with the replacement, or the spares. This one would be the rear. I'm not sure if there's a difference between the front and rear calipers. I believe the issues are there's a left and a right to these things, right? So if you see the so which one goes on which side? I think I'm going to find out here pretty quick. And then got plenty of the hardware. It's all ready to go. Okay, into the ultrasonic cleaner it goes. This is just the first of the passes. I just want to knock the crap off the top layer. So, okay, here's first 3 calipers out. I haven't cleaned up the pistons yet, but they don't look bad. There's one that didn't want to come out. Took about 100 psi. It was funny, at 80 psi it wouldn't come out, but when I turned up the compressor to max, which is like 100, it popped right out. So let's go get the other parts out of
ultrasonic cleaner. Here's the first load. Don't want to just dump all those little parts are in there. So let's just take this out. We should have cleaned up. We've taken the top layer of the gunk out. Okay, there's 3 calipers going in. I will be looking at this. So these ones didn't get a pre-clean before disassembly, so let's just go in here. I wonder what this GoPro would look like down in there. They say it's waterproof. Okay, so I'll call it a day for now. You never get as much done as you hope to. But I got all the parts cleaned up. I got 3 good pistons. I got 3 good calipers. I decided I want to paint them, so I had to stop. I'm going to run them on the wire wheel. And got 2 right hand. There's other. Sorry. Need a right and a left bracket for the front calipers. Didn't get to the master cylinders. I'll have a master cylinder weekend coming up. So, okay, time to put her away, go to work for the week, come back next weekend.